Peak. Hey y'all, it's me, Marty. Welcome to another video. I didn't know you guys were in the room yet. How's it going? Hey, come a little closer. It's great to see y'all this morning. Oh, good coffee. Welcome to my workshop. I was reading my new Scrollsaw Woodworking Crafts magazine spring issue. It's not spring yet, but on the Scrollsaw magazines and all woodworking magazines for that matter, they're always a few months ahead of time, which is a good thing. I was shelling that one. I haven't had pistachios in my shop with coffee yet this year. This is the first time. And the first one I get a shell in my mouth. Oh yeah. I love my pistachios. And they're so good with coffee. And it's fun to throw them at the camera. I know you all love it. So, welcome to another video. I haven't done a video in a little bit since I was on the road. When was my last one? Was it my live stream last week? I think it was. Been busy. Good busy. Oh, so good. Oh yeah, good hot coffee on a cool morning. Oh, it's so good. With pistachios from California. In my pistachio bowl that I made out of pistachio wood from my friend Chris. Thanks again, Chris. I gotta make more out of that pistachio wood. It looks really nice. Sitting in my chair in my shop. So in this video, I'm gonna do a shop tour. Shop tour 2025. Yes. I know you all have been anxiously waiting. I know nobody's really waiting, but hopefully you enjoy it. Okay, so I'm going to do a little catch up here, and then we're going to start the tour. And just want to chat a little bit, do a little update what's going on. Then we'll do a shop tour, and it's going to be a little longer this time. I'm going to have more details, and I got a few new things, organized, clean, did some things. I hope you enjoy it. So it is January 17th, 2025. Friday morning. Happy Friday. Yippee skippy, it's Friday. What channel was that? There was a radio station years ago I listened to. Was it KDWB? I don't remember. It was a rock station, a pop rock station of the 80s, and they always used to say that in the morning. John, was it John? John? I don't know. Anywho, so yeah, it's Friday morning. It is about 28 degrees right now. So we've had a pretty easy winter. We haven't had hardly any snow, which is nice. That was like last winter. The winter before, we got tons of snow. Last winter, hardly any snow. This winter, hardly any. There's a little bit on the ground, as you've seen at the beginning. But it's going to be 35, 37 today, and that's probably going to melt. Then it's going to drop again. I mean, really drop. Like -10 for highs and teens for lows, and wind chills of 30, 40, 50 below for about a week, and then hopefully it'll start warming up a little bit. But anyway, that's the scoop. Sun is shining. It's a beautiful morning. Everybody's still sleeping. Well, they're all starting to get up, but I got up early, came out in the shop, and finished a few things in here I wanted to do. I'm in the middle of starting a few new projects, and I'll do videos on them too. But wanted to finish a few things before I do my shop tour. So yeah, so it's Friday. I got home. When did I get home from my trip? I went out to California and back. I'm a truck driver on the road. You all know that, most of you. And got back, I don't know, this is Friday. When did I get back? I lose track of days. Was it Monday? Monday or Tuesday? I don't know. Anywho, and I'm home till, I don't go out till this coming Monday. I'm probably going to Florida. Not sure. Anyway, enjoying my home time. I love being home. I really do. And I wish I could be home all the time. Someday, but, yeah, enjoying time with my wife and kids and grandkids and just doing chores at home. I like doing chores and do a little bit of woodworking. I've been in the shop every morning since I've been home. I just enjoy coming out in the shop and doing stuff, whether it's just putzing, drinking coffee and eating pistachios, reading my new Scrollsaw magazine, reorganizing, creating things, planning things, making things. It's just fun. I really enjoy having a workshop. So yeah, a lot of woodworkers out there like to do shop tours at the beginning of the year. I usually end up doing a couple of shop tours through the year. I'm going to try to just stick to one this year, unless things really change. They probably won't, but got a few changes and things, and I know I have a lot of new subscribers and viewers, so that's great. Thank you all. And thanks for everybody who's been watching me for the last 11, 12 years. So yeah. Again, I just do this for fun. It's a hobby. I work 70 hours a week. This is just, so yeah. So we're going to get on with the tour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the phone, my camera, off the tripod, put it on my little handheld tripod and do it that way. That's how I like to do it. And I'm just going to, yeah, just showing you my shop. I'm going to do a little bit more detail this time. People are asking, what brand do you have of certain tools? So I'm going to talk about the brands, and I'll probably put them right down here, whatever model it is or whatever. I'm also going to, as I go along, just give some tips. It's just my 2 cents, y'all, just my opinions, but just give some tips on different things about my shop, about woodworking, safety, tools, different things. Maybe throw in a little story or two. This might be an hour-long video, so get ready for the ride. I hope you enjoy it. So grab a coffee or tea or whatever you like in the morning. Well, it'll be afternoon when this is uploaded, but anyway. I hope you enjoy it. Please watch all the way till the end. I'll just have some last-minute thoughts again, and yeah, I just want to show you a few things. First of all, I'm not a professional. I've been woodworking for 32, 33 years or so. And it's just a hobby, and I'm basically a weekend woodworker. I mean, I don't even get that sometimes. I work a lot, so I really don't get out here very often. And so I've never gotten really good at any kind of woodworking. You know, I've been scrollsawing for years. I do other things too. But I don't have a lot of time out here, but I'm thankful to have a wood shop and have some tools and do it when I can. I love creating things and making gifts, and yeah, and I'm not a professional, so take my tips and advice for what it's worth. Just my 2 cents, 1 cent, whatever. And, you know, I have a lot of thrifty tools. we don't have a lot of extra money, and I wouldn't spend it on fancy stuff anyway. So here's the thing too, real quick. I know I don't want to ramble too much. I want to get on with the tour, but I like workshop videos and workshop tours of the guys, gals who have small wood shops and make really good use of small space. I like that. And also who have thrifty tools, budget tools, and you know, I like those, and have a good personality and have a kind of a nostalgic, fun little shop. I like those kind of videos. So that's the kind of shop mine is too. So if you want, you can check out a playlist. So that's the thing too, y'all. I have like 470 videos. Please go watch my older videos. Tons of woodworking and outdoor stuff, family stuff, music, everything, all kinds of stuff. Please go watch those videos. I started a playlist recently of other people's videos you can check out. It's over 70 videos of other people of small workshops and tips and ideas. It's really cool. Lots of variety. There's wonderful videos out there. Yes, there's people out there who have a lot of huge, big shops with expensive tools. Yeah, they're great too, but I like to watch the ones that are more thrifty and small. So I have a playlist if you want to go watch them. Those are all great videos, or much better than mine. But so go watch that playlist of all those videos, and please watch those YouTube channels and subscribe and watch them. So yeah, that's what mine's going to be about. It's pretty thrifty. Everything I have is, a couple of things were given to me. The rest are Facebook Marketplace, really good deals, but they work good enough for me, and I like them. I'm also not really big into brand names. I don't talk about brand names too much. There is one brand I really like, and you'll see it in the shop a little bit. Otherwise, I don't get into that. I'm also not sponsored or anything. Everything I have, I buy. I don't get free stuff, and I don't want to do that. Again, so yeah, just some basic things about me and my shop, and you know what I do and stuff. And yeah, so I'm going to get on with the tour. And again, I'm going to do tips and stories along the way. I'll take a little bit afterwards. So I hope you enjoy this. Please watch through all the way to the end. And again, I just like to share. You know, I'm not perfect or anything. I'm always learning. And yeah, so let's get on with the shop tour. Marty's Ramblings, Marty's Shop 2025. Okay, so we live in west central Minnesota. Beautiful sun coming up over there in the east. That's always a nice place for it to come up. Where we live here, we can watch the sun come up in the east and set in the west over there. That's wonderful. Here's our humble home in the country. There's my big truck. There's my blue GMC, 20-year-old. There's my wife's Jeep. And so basically I wanted to show this real quick here. My shop's over there, garage is here, but it really started out here. I've been woodworking for 32, 33 years, something like that. And started Scrollsaw. My uncle and my grandpa got me into woodworking years ago, and I really enjoy it. Mostly Scrollsaw, but I've gotten into a lot of other things. But I've always had a little shop, and it started with just a one-car garage when we had an apartment, and I had Scrollsaw on the floor. And then I took a pallet and I made a workbench, put my Scrollsaw on that. And then it just evolved and expanded, and it's changed through the years. And as we've moved around, I've had different workshops and garages and sheds and all different places. But we bought this house in 2018. So we've been here 5, 6, 7 years, almost 7 years already. And when we moved here, I had my shop in the garage. But then I decided it would be really nice to have a separate shop next to the garage, so I could have my truck in there, or at least work on it, and my wife could park her Jeep on the other side. And so that's what I did. The way I started, back there in the back corner of our property, we got a 2-acre hobby farm here. There was an old garage there, a one-stall garage, and in the middle of winter going into spring, I tore it down because we didn't use it. So I tore it down to use the wood to start building my shop. So it was out there, and I tore the garage down. Now that's my bushcraft area over there. I have a little campfire area and tree house and stuff. And we have another campfire area over there. But over there was a building. It was a one-car stall garage, and I tore it down. I dragged all the wood up here, and I built my shop over here. So my shop used to be in here. Now it's not anymore. Well, that's the annex. That's the extension of my shop, and I'll show you that later. But my wife parks her Jeep over here. But here's the shop over here. And so basically what I did, I was working for a company who built sheds and buildings. And I couldn't afford to buy one because they were super expensive. They were like $10,000 or more. So I basically built my own out of scrap. Again, it's not fancy, nothing's perfect, but it's nice. So here's the thing. This is a 10 by 24 shop. Okay, and what I did, we bought the floor, the base for it, a 10 by 24. I don't know what it was, $600 or something. And then all the rest I got free scrap at where I worked. And from that garage I tore down there, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I did buy a few 2x4s, but basically this is built out of scrap. It's not pretty, it's not perfect, but it's nice. So this is the deck I added onto it after I got the shop built. It's, 4 or 5 feet by just under 10 feet. Just a nice little deck on the front of the shop. Sometimes, like I try to do all my sanding outside year round. And I'll even bring my Scrollsaw out here on the deck, and I'll Scrollsaw outside when it's nice. And it's just nice to have a deck and do stuff out here. So basically I do sanding out here. So I have a little table out here. That's another heater I got, a really nice heater. It was only $20, but it's leaking. So I have to have my friend help me fix it. Anyway, I got a little stool out here, and this is a thing I use for finishing. Just simple little thing. I put a Lazy Susan on it, and I'll put my little pieces, Scrollsaw art or whatever, I'll put it on it, and then I can spin it and spray and finish. So that's kind of that. Got some hatchets there. So here's my stump and a machete. That's how I process wood for carving spoons. And I'll do that here on the deck here. I got an old saw up there, a really old scroll saw. This is an old topper somebody gave me, so I put it on here for a covering. I know it's very country hick, and it's really weird, but it's fun. I got into carving signs a few years ago, and so just some signs I carved. I haven't been doing that lately, but did that for a while. I'd like to do it again someday. This is a dog welcome sign, I believe. Let me see here. Yeah, our Grandpa Mord made that many years ago. I got a open and close sign, a thermometer up there, and Yeah, and I got that at a truck stop one day. I thought it was pretty cool. It's very true. And anything you want to see more of or details, you can screenshot. That's one of the first signs I carved. Marty's workshop, and here's the door. And again, so this is all made out of scrap. I got a free door, free windows, free plywood, siding, metal roofing. Everything was free from my work that they were throwing away, and I built my shop out of it. Now, let's go inside. Okay, so first of all, I had the heat going this morning. It is, again, it's like 28, 30 degrees, and but I wanted to warm it up, so now it's about a little over 30. No, it's actually warmer than that. It's about 45 in here. I think that thermometer's off. So this is my shop. So I turned the heater off so it wouldn't be noisy. So, okay. So again, don't criticize me. Just this. There's a lot of things in here that aren't perfect, but it's homey and it's fun, and it works for me. Again, first of all, this is an electrician's nightmare because all I have is a electrical cord coming through the wall from the garage with outlet strips, extension cords to run everything. I know that's not safe, but it's just me in here, one tool at a time, usually only one light at a time. And soon I have outlets and boxes and everything. I just need to get some coax, and a friend of mine's going to help me wire this shop and do it right and safely. But okay, so this is my shop. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around. Okay, so first of all, there's my door. A few little signs and stickers and just fun things. Again, this is a really kind of homey, nostalgic, fun, comfortable shop, and I just like to hang things on the walls and just make it my own and stuff. So this is the south wall. Again, this is going to be a longer video, so hang on for the ride. But I hope you enjoy. Please comment on anything too. And again, you can screenshot if you have tips, advice, complaints, anything. Put it in the comments as I go along. I'm just going to share tips and stories and fun things. So this is the south wall of the shop. Basically on this wall, I have this. This is my Shopsmith lathe I got for, was it 30 bucks, I think, recently on Facebook Marketplace. Because it was so cheap, I don't think I'll ever get into lathe work. And honestly, I probably will never use this, but it looks really cool in my shop. It's a very old one. I believe it's from the 40s or 50s. Again, I'll put down I'll put it on the screen, the model of this, but it's a Shopsmith lathe, and I think it actually turns into a table saw or something else too, but I don't know. It was very cheap. It's incredibly heavy, and it actually works, and it works very well. I'm hoping my friend Don, my brother Don, is going to come over today and maybe try it out because he does lathe work. But yeah, that's my Shopsmith there. And on this wall, I have a TV here, and I'm going to get a DVD player, and probably VHS too, and plug in here just if I want to have things playing in here. I got an old classic Sony boombox here to play cassette tapes, and I got a whole bunch of old cassette tapes on the shelf there. I got a first aid kit here, a little sign that Grandpa Moore made years ago, thermometer, which I believe is off. I got my charger hanging there for my cell phone. I do all my videos with my cell phone, my camera. And I got a little cell phone stand there. That's the remote for the TV. Some business cards from different, yeah, I tried to do a business year so many different times, but never worked. But anyway, and some of the things I make, Jesus words, one of my favorite things to make on the Scrollsaw. I really enjoy making them. That's a little prayer cross made out of corian, and that's a little Christmas ornament also made out of corian. It's a plastic material, and it cuts really nice on the Scrollsaw. And you know, a little calendar there. It's always on Christmas Day, and a little Jesus. I didn't make that. I got a garage sale some years ago, but I've used that as a pattern to make those now and then for fun. Yeah, as we go down here, so on the bottom, I got my Mr. Heater, 35,000 BTU propane heater there. Again, I have the bigger heater that works better, but I gotta get it fixed. I got some birch logs under there drying. I'm gonna split them and use them for carving spoons. This is just kind of a silly toolbox I made years ago. I got Marty the Handy Craftsman on there, and I got scriptures on the end. It's just kind of an old-fashioned type one, pretty simple to make. And I use that if I'll go do projects at church or help somebody or do something. I can just throw some tools in there, just kind of nice. I have a little stool under there. I'll explain what I use that for in a little bit. That's for carving signs. My shop is always evolving. It's always changing. Every time I set up a shop, I just kind of set it up and then I just add and change as I go, and it's always evolving. So, and I still got more things I want to organize and change and do and all that. But this is what it is right now. And then over here is kind of my sanding area. Not very organized, but I got a bit of sandpaper over there. I got a shelf here with all different kinds of grit. 3x18 belts. 5-inch hook and loop round orbital sanders, sander things, and then the quarter sheet sanding things. And I got a couple of sanders here. I just got a cheap Hyper Tough orbital sander. I'm not crazy about orbital sanders, to be honest. I guess I've never really got a good one, but I'm not crazy about how they really work. But I have some cordless tools. I have Ryobi, and I'm not crazy about them either. The batteries don't last, but I'm hoping to change to a different cordless tool system, either rigid or DeWalt or the Menards brand. I don't know. I'm not sure. If anybody has any suggestions. No, I don't want to go real expensive like Makita or Milwaukee. I want to kind of stay thrifty, but I'm not crazy about the Ryobi. But anyway, I got a 1/4-inch sander there for kind of doing detailed sanding. I have a 3x18 sander there. That's my favorite for doing most sanding. And then again, just different belts. I have my 2 favorite beers up there. I usually just drink Heineken, but the chocolate peanut butter porter is really good. Again, I'm not a big drinker at all. I like a couple of beers every few months. That's about it. Again, you can screenshot anything. That's a little poem I got of a woodworker. Got out of a magazine years ago I put up there. Kind of neat. I got a shelf there, nothing up there right now. That's kind of that wall. So that's the south wall of the shop. Okay, then we're going to do the west wall here. Okay, so I have a drill press here. This is a big heavy-duty drill press my friend Don gave me. It's a Duracraft, 3/4 inch. It's a model 1600. So again, I'll put that on the thing on the bottom. I can't find a chuck that fits it, so I have to use a wrench and a drill bit to change the chuck, so I don't use it very often, but it's very heavy duty. So I have a bit in there that I use for tea lights and other things. So I just kind of leave that bit in there. It's a very good heavy duty old saw. It's got a light on it, or drill press saw. It's a drill press. But yeah, it's very heavy duty and works very well. Now, a thing really quick too, almost everything in my shop is on wheels. I like to do that. I put caster wheels on them all because then you can move them around. You can clean underneath and rearrange. Certain things I don't have wheels on. Like I have this workbench in the middle of, it's kind of a table in the middle of the room. I don't have wheels on that because I don't want it to move around too much. Most everything else has wheels. I also don't have wheels on my drill presses because they're really top heavy and skinny, so I don't want them tipping over. So I don't have wheels on them. So that's my antique, old, heavy-duty, big drill press that my friend Don gave me. And this is my Delta. So again, I'm not really big into brand names, but I really like Delta. I love the older Delta tools more than anything else that's made right now. I just think they're really high quality, and I like the older ones of everything. So I have a few Delta things in my shop. This is a Delta 1/2-inch drill press, 12-inch drill press. This is what I use for almost everything. Kind of a medium-sized one. I actually have 3 drill presses. I have another mini one, but this is one I use for everything. It works excellent, just amazing. And even, I think that's kind of cool, the holder there for the drill chuck. I've seen some on chains, and I think that's incredibly dangerous, but really good drill press. Used for almost everything. Works very well, and I got it on a stand. So here's the thing about stands and carts. I don't, for as far as shop equipment, I don't do master craftsmanship for any of that stuff. Actually, I don't do master craftsmanship for anything. I'm just a putz, y'all. I'm just, but as far as workbenches and carts and stands, I'm not going to use fancy wood and do all the fancy stuff to just for those. So they're really simple. All of my stands and carts and workbenches are 2x4s with plywood tops. Very simple. So yeah, I got a stand for the drill press that's mounted on there. Okay, then we have my router table workstation here. So a few years ago I started carving signs, something like this, which is one I started a couple of years ago. I haven't finished yet. I'll carve signs by hand. I learned from the Rotens. Please check out their channel. I'll put their channel on here. Eric Roten and his dad Dave. Dave passed away a few years ago, but it's Eric Roten and his wife Vicky and their son Ryan, a wonderful family, and they have a wonderful YouTube channel, and they show how to carve signs by hand, and it's just wonderful. I learned that a few years ago from them, and I was carving signs. I haven't done that much lately, but really fun. So I made this table here, so I could use that stool right there, and I'll sit it here, and then I can sit on the stool, and then I'm kind of like eye level with the sign, and I can carve signs, and really neat. So and here's the thing, y'all. I have a bunch of routers and tons of router equipment I have to organize down here. But I honestly don't use routers that often. I don't know much about routers. So, but someday, I mean, I have a dovetail jig and tons of router bits and all kinds of stuff. And someday I want to learn more router skills. But I'll show you the routers I have. This is my main router for carving signs. This is a rigid trim router, palm router, whatever you want to call it, with Eric Roten base on it for carving signs, and you just go like this. I'm holding my phone, so I can't do it, but you have a hand on each side, each knob, and you can just carve the signs. That's how you carve, and it's just wonderful. I love that router. It died a couple of years ago. I need to fix it or replace it, but that's my rigid. Then I have an old Craftsman here that works excellent. I'm not going to take these out, but there's an old Craftsman there. It works very well. I use that mainly for chamfering the edges of signs. Then I have a Bosch, nice Bosch here that a friend of mine gave me. Haven't used it yet. Then I have just a budget skill router there. Then I have a Black & Decker router table here. So there's really only two things I do with routers. One, I use my rigid to carve signs. And two, I'll just use this to round over edges on things. You know, different things I make, I'll just put a round over edge on them. That's about all I do with routers. And I have 5 routers and tons of stuff, but I really don't do much with routers. But someday if I have time, when I have time, I'll do more. But I'd like to get back into carving signs. And then I just have lots of different things and bits and different accessories and stuff here. I like to have accessories with the tools. I don't like to have them over in different areas. I like to have them with the tools. So this is my router table. I have all my routers here, all my router bits, all the accessories, all with my routers. I just like to do that with all the tools. And I still need to do more organizing and move things around, but that's what I basically try to do, is keep accessories with the tools. So yeah, that's my router table. And on the wall here, all kinds of drill bits. It's a mess. I need to redo that. But again, it's right next to my drill press, so it's handy there. Other drill accessories and bits and different things up there. Those are actually lettering more for the router, so this is kind of my drill router area here. I have some templates here. That's a cribbage board template, and some of the games I like to make. Those are just templates I make. Again, I'm really big on templates, y'all, if you don't already know that about me. And then that's just a cheap, Hyper Tough rotary tool. I also have a Dremel, but I've never really used them too much, but they're nice to have for certain things. This kind of a finishing area here. I have some of those cone things, and for doing staining and painting and spraying and finishing. And then some of the sealers that I use. These are basically what I use, whatever's on sale. I like to just use different ones, but Rust-Oleum, so here's the thing. For finishing, I'm not really fancy, and I'm not really good at it. So for the most part, I usually just do a clear coat of just clear lacquer, poly, whatever. That's how I finish most of my things. Or I'll dip Christmas ornaments and small Scrollsaw things. I'll dip them in oils. If it's a bigger piece, like a small piece of furniture or whatever, I might stain something and then spray it, or lacquer or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not real good at the finishing side, so I just do it pretty simple. I either dip things in oil or I spray. So yeah, I've got Rust-Oleum, satin clear enamel. I got Minwax Helmsman, Spar urethane, Varathane, poly, Waco lacquer, Minwax poly. So that's kind of, I just use the different sprays. And honestly, I just brought these out here to show you, but I keep all my finishes and glues in the house in the wintertime. Otherwise, they'll freeze out here. Or I'll use Waco Danish oil. I'll dip Christmas ornaments and little Scrollsaw things in that. So that's basically how I finish things after I'm done sanding. And I use Tight Bond 1, 2, and 3, whatever's on sale. They all pretty much work the same. You know, number 2 is water resistant. Number 3 is waterproof. I guess I'll use 1 and 2, whatever I get. For most things, I'll use number 3 for like cutting boards and things I want waterproof. So that's just some clear finishes and glues that I have. There's some other things for painting and scraping and finishing types of stuff on that wall. Oh, back in here, I have my Kreg jig, pocket hole jig. Got that as a gift too a few years ago, and I haven't used it much, but it works really well. I want to use that more. Okay, let's keep on going down the line. So another thing is you'll see I have templates, so I don't like using paper patterns unless it's a really detailed something and I'm only going to do it once. Otherwise, I like making hardboard templates because then I can just trace them on the wood. I don't have to worry about patterns or adhesive or tape or glues or taking stuff off. I just like to do that better. So I have them all over the place. They're hanging all over my shop, and I have bins of templates. I'm always making templates. And yeah, we'll get more into patterns in a little bit. But if you see them hanging around, those are different templates of things I like to make. Okay, as we go down the line here. Then I have a little bandsaw, which I haven't really used yet. My wife picked it up pretty cheap. It might have been free on the side of the road. It's a Performax, I believe, from Menards. Just a small one. I'm not really into bandsaws too much, but I think because I think the Scrollsaw, that's my big tool. The Scrollsaw, that's my main tool. I think the Scrollsaw can do everything a bandsaw can do and more. A couple things a bandsaw can do that a Scrollsaw can't, like re-sawing and making bandsaw boxes. So I'm hoping to use this to resaw small woods into 1/4 inch for my Christmas ornaments. But yeah, I gotta tweak that a little bit, and I'm gonna use that. That's my little Performax bandsaw. Oh, I got a little old vise there. I gotta figure out where to put that. This is a really old vise. Put that somewhere. I got another little vise here too for different things. Oh, and I have a little, what do you call this? Forgot the name of it, but it was only like $10 at Harbor Freight. Anvil? Yeah, I always wanted one of those, kind of neat. Just a small one, just for pounding things on. I don't do metal work, but I thought it was kind of cool. So I grabbed it. It was like $10. And yeah. Okay, now Scrollsaws. So here is my Delta 16-inch. I recently got this. Amazing deal. So Facebook Marketplace, seriously, it's just absolutely amazing. You can get better used scroll saws, or any tools for that matter, better tools cheaper than brand new tools, and you just got to look around, and there's so many good deals out there. But this is, yeah, I really enjoy the Delta tools. I really love the Delta scroll saws. I like the older ones that were made in the 90s and early 2000s. The real old ones, you know, they're kind of neat antiques, but they're really finicky, and the blade holders and all that are hard. But the ones that are made in the 90s, early 2000s are great saws. And this is a Delta 16-inch. And I love the quick release blade holders, y'all. I really like those. And I just think they work so well. Most of the scroll saws nowadays just have a little thumb screw, and I do not like them. As a matter of fact, the newer Deltas have a thumb screw, and I don't like it. Okay, quick ramble on scroll saws here for a little bit. Scroll sawing is my main woodworking, and so I've been scroll sawing over 30 years, and I really enjoy it. I like Delta scroll saws. I like the older scroll saws better. Because there's a lot of thrifty ones you can get now brand new for like $100 or whatever. I just don't think they're that great. I'd rather spend $100 on one this was like a $300 saw, and I got it for $25. I mean, you know, you can get better saws cheaper than the new ones, I think. And even the real expensive ones, I don't know, the other, you know, the more expensive, newer Deltas, DeWalt, Excalibur, Rikon, they're all great if you have the money, but if you have money to buy expensive tools, fine. I just want to promote thrifty hobbies. I mean, you know, whether it's woodworking or outdoor stuff, you don't have to have the expensive stuff and you can still have fun. I don't want money to be a limitation for people to not enjoy their hobby. So I always just try to share, you know, you can get really good stuff used. Why buy new when used will do? So yeah. And again, there's two things I don't like about the newer Scrollsaws. One, I don't like the blade holders, and they're just a thumb screw because it's just all dependent on how tight how strong your fingers are to tighten that thumb screw. Also, they strip out. I had a DeWalt for 10 years. I really liked the saw, but the thumb screw stripped out so many times I had to buy new ones. So I don't like those blade holders. I also don't like that the newer Scrollsaws don't have an insert you can remove. The Deltas do, and I'll show you that in a second. The older Deltas. If you can't remove the thing, they just have a hole there where the blade goes through. It's harder to put the blade in the holder on the bottom because you can't see it. And also, you can't put a zero clearance in there. There's a few things I like better on the older ones than the new ones. So I have a lot of videos on scroll sawing if you want to watch those. Lots of tips and my thoughts and just different things about scroll sawing. So yeah. But yeah, so I really enjoy the Delta quick release blade holders. That's a really nice saw. 16-inch. That is actually my backup saw. I have a bunch of scroll saws. You're going to see a lot more, but that's my backup, and it's a variable speed. I have, in case this one breaks or something goes wrong, I can just keep scrolling, and then I can fix that later. So we'll move down the line here. This is my main scroll saw. Okay, before that, a couple of shelves here. I'll just show you just some different things. Oh, I got these. Oh, sorry. Bunch of accessories here, just different things. I like pictures. Those are postcards, Christmas scenes. I like one of my favorite scriptures, with God, all things are possible. So true. That's a pig picture that I got it was a white elephant gift at a Christmas party at church this year. He's just sitting there kind of keeping me company. There's a scroll saw shop sign and a scroll saw I did many years ago, got hanging up there. And then I have a big coffee mug of extra blades, all different blades in there, some pin blades for my other saws. I got Johnson paste wax, which I use to finish the tops of my scroll saws and keep them smooth and shiny and working well. That can I've had for 30 years and it's still going strong. I need to refinish this top of my new saw, but yeah. And then I also have clear packing tape, which I put on the bottom of wood if it's hardwoods, especially like maple, cherry, purple heart. It helps cool the blade, and it makes the blade last longer. And yeah, that clear packing tape on the bottom of hardwoods really works good. But don't use cheap tape. Use the good stuff. I used cheap tape once, and it didn't go good. You got to watch that video. Anyway. And just a bunch of accessories here, tape and pencils and compasses and rulers and a grumpy old man mug I got years ago. Little utility blades I use for different things. Just a whole bunch of different accessories for stuff, and you'll see that around. Again, here's some templates. These are Christmas ornaments I've made through the years. I have millions of patterns, actually, of Christmas ornaments and scroll saw patterns, all different things, but I also like to make my own patterns. And every year I try to make a new Christmas ornament. That was last year's, and this was this year's, well, this past year's. That was 24, and that was 23. A couple of turned things that my friend Don made on his lathe. It's a mallet and a lighthouse. I have a couple more old saws up here, and just some things. Menards trucks. That's an old Fleet Farm pickup bank. Old Moto saw. That's actually a Dremel high-speed electric scroll saw. It's basically a coping saw with a electrical cord. That's definitely an antique. It was only $585 brand new years ago. I believe from the 40s, 50s, 60s, something like that. Kind of neat. And then an old soldering iron there. But yeah, so I have patterns all over. Again, these are my templates for different things I like to make. You'll see them all over. I have fluorescent lighting in here. I'm slowly switching out to LED. But yeah, okay, sorry. Go down the line here, and this is my 18-inch Delta. This is my main saw, and This one basically I think was from the early 2000s. This one I think was 98 or 99. And this was like a $700-800 Scrollsaw, and I think I got it for 100, 150, something like that. Still works great. I've had this one for quite a few years now. And I really like it. It's variable speed, very heavy duty. Again, it has the quick release blade holder, which I really like. And yeah, another thing with my Scrollsaws, a lot of the Scrollsaws come like this. They have the back side, the back of the Scrollsaw is tipped up so that it's at an angle. And it's just easier when you're scrolling, you're looking down at the workpiece instead of looking like this. So many of the newer saws, they're angled like that one is. That one's 20 years old, they did that. But a lot of the new ones, they're some of them, the more expensive ones, are angled like that. If they're not angled, I just put a block on the back, and it tips it up so that you're looking down at your workpiece. It's just a little tip there. So I do that on all my Scrollsaws if they're not already angled. There's a Scrollsaw Artist compound cut thing I made. And I just put magnets on, so it's on there. There's a Route 66 magnet. There's another magnet for finding things. Anyway, this is my 18-inch Scrollsaw. That's what I do most of my work on. And yeah, so that 16 inch is my backup. So I'll show you something here. So a few things for my Scrollsaw area here. I like to have all the accessories by the tool again. So I have a little mini Dremel drill press there if I want to pre-drill for Christmas ornaments or whatever right next to my saw. I have a light there. I have another extra little light there. I have a little thing, a little nothing fancy, just a thing to hold blades. Scrollsaw blades. I have earplugs. I got pliers and screwdrivers, scissors, pencils, pens, compass, a little nail set, washers to just make curves and different things. But yeah, some different things next to my Scrollsaw on the window ledge. So they're handy for scrolling. A couple other tips here. So I always sit. I have a stool here. So I sit. This is actually a flotation device that I put in here, and I strapped it to my stool here just for a little bit more cushion for my butt. Anyway, I have a little scrap bin there. There is no scrap, y'all. Even the smallest pieces of wood can be made into wonderful works of art, really. So, yes, I eventually end up burning some stuff, but I keep a lot of it, and you'll see a lot of the stuff that I keep because there's so many things you can make out of even the smallest piece of wood. That said, some stuff I do end up throwing away or burning in the campfires. So I have a bin here. I have a couple bins for cutoffs, what I call them, because I might end up throwing them away, but I might end up using them. But yeah, so yeah, that's a little basket there. So as I'm sitting here, as I have cutoffs and scrap pieces, I can just slide them right off right into there. So I'll show you this. I'm going to sit on here quick if I can do this. I have, so another thing, I don't have a lot of dust collection in my shop. Maybe someday, but I don't right now. I have a shop vac hooked up to my Scrollsaw, and I have the Scrollsaw hooked up to a foot pedal, and I have that light hooked up to the foot pedal too. So some good things to have for on a Scrollsaw if it already doesn't have it. Make sure you have a dust blower and an extra little light. And if you have it on a foot pedal, then your hands are free and you just push the pedal and it works. So I got everything, the Scrollsaw, the shop vac, and my light hooked up to the foot pedal. So I can just put the tension on the blade here. So now I'm going to push the foot pedal down here. So the Scrollsaw comes on, the shop vac comes on, and the light comes on. And I can turn any of those off if I don't want them all running, but they all are on the same foot switch. So that works really nice. So this is my main place I sit, the main tool. Everything else in my shop revolves around this tool, my Scrollsaw. That's my main form of woodworking. I really enjoy it. Then I always have safety glasses. Another thing, I have safety glasses at every tool. I'm really big on safety. Be safe in your shop. Wear safety glasses, wear earplugs, face masks, whatever you need for whatever tool you're using. Be very safe. Be organized too. And I got shop tip videos too, but just a couple things. But yeah, just be safe in your shop. So yeah, I have safety glasses there. Those are actually bifocal ones I use for scrolling. And then I have this here, kind of a mess right now, but it's another little cart. It's kind of in the way. Again, this is a 10 by 24 shop. I don't have a tons of room in here, but it works. I just got to be careful walking around and stuff. I have this little cart here because I like to have stuff ready to scroll saw. Those are extra ornaments that I had this year that I never got cut out. I'm probably still going to cut them out and give them away. I got hugs here. I like to make word art. You all know that. Those are hugs. They're all traced out, ready to go. Smiles, peace, tons of Jesus words and schmillies and thanks and teachers and crosses and 3D reindeer. What else do I got? Yeah, all kinds of Jesus words. And these are all traced out, ready to go. So I can just grab it and cut it. And then I put it over here. I use my table saw. I don't use the table saw very often, so it's a table. It's a table saw, but right now it's a table. As I make things on the scroll saw, so I'll grab them here, cut them, and then I'll put them over here. Here's some things I did around Christmas time. 3D reindeer, prayer crosses, a little nativity there. What else do I got under here? Well, I got a mallet there I made a while ago. I got to make more of those mallets. Those take apart reindeer. Joys, Noels, smiles, Jesus words, Jesus fish. Here's a few of my favorite patterns, so I always have them here because I'm always making smiles, hugs, and Jesus words. Then I just got a mug with some different, pens and a compass and a little square and ruler. I got drill bits in there. Some of my main bits that I use there. That's a little quick release blade holder I need to fix. This is just a slice of wood that I put over my coffee mug so dust doesn't get in there. Pencils, a knife, eraser. So this is kind of a little desk, but it's my table saw. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, as I cut things on a scroll saw, I'll put them over here, and then when I get a bunch of stuff there, I'll take them over to the sander, and I'll usually sand outside. Okay, keep rolling here. Okay, so I have a few things hanging up here. Again, I just like my shop nostalgic and comfy and homey. That's some reindeer that my grandpa Mord and Uncle Don made me, or they made and gave to us years ago. So some of their crafts up there. That is Uncle Don. We still get together usually once a month, and he's the one that got me into scroll sign many years ago and woodworking. That's Grandpa Mord. The two of them are the ones that got me into woodworking and scroll sign. That's my first wife, Yvonne, who passed away in 2004, and Grandpa Mord at a craft show. We used to do craft shows all the time. Never really made much money, but it was always fun doing them together. Best grandpa anyone ever saw. I think that was Grandpa's, I believe. There's a wonderful thing my wonderful wife Marilyn made me years ago. She took the picture of it. It looked like a deer kissing another deer. And it says, "Thanks for dreaming with me. A kiss from me to you." And I had that in my truck for many years, and then I took it out and put it in here. So it's so real wonderful. And there's a mirror. There I am. Hey, y'all, it's me, Marty. There's a really old pencil sharpener, but it still works great. Got a little shelf here. Paper towels and Kleenex for blowing my nose. Okay, so yeah, I just got lots of things hanging on walls. There's a teacher that I made. Sometimes I'll go backwards to just show some different things. But I think as we go on along the line here. Okay, so this is the very first scroll saw I ever used. My Uncle Don and Grandpa Moore gave this to me. This is a Sears Craftsman 18-inch. Kind of rickety old saw. It's not the best to learn on, but I was thankful for it, and I learned, and then eventually got better saws and got better at it. But that's the one I started on in 1992. Then I just got some things here. So Grandpa Moore passed away in 2000, I believe. People called him Arnie. His name was Arnold. That's his jacket. And I also got his tape measure suspenders. These are some birds. That's a cardinal, I think. That's a finch, maybe, and a blue jay. I don't remember if Uncle Don made those or Grandpa Mord. But a few things. There's another old saw up there. So think a little bit about the ceiling. It's horrible. So I basically built the shop, and it's attached to the garage. And so the slant comes off the garage. So I had to go with the same slant. And it's barely a slant, and sometimes I get leaks. And yeah, but basically the snow and rain runs off it. But it's very low in here, and it's weird. Again, none of this is perfect, and it's, yeah, but it works. Anyway, some more memorabilia here, some more birds. These are some simple crafts that Grandpa Moore had made through the years. I don't have much of my dad's. I wish I had more, but this is his old J.C. Penney toolbox. He always had in his pickup. He always had it in there, and yeah, so that's his old toolbox. Rusty, and yeah, but that's his toolbox that he always had. And a flashlight and a couple of screwdrivers that were his also. Then I got a copier here I need to plug in that our pastor gave us. So I'm going to use that just for making copies in the shop here. I got some carbon paper here, a whole bunch of intarsia patterns. I got some people and pets pattern book there, and then tons and tons of patterns. Those stacks of patterns and pattern books. I got a bazillion patterns, y'all. I seriously do. And then I have lots of magazines and books. So there's basically two Scrollsaw magazines I've been getting for years. Back in the 90s, this was the one to get. Creative Woodworks and Crafts. And they were in the 90s, and I don't think they're published anymore, but it was a great, wonderful Scrollsaw magazine. I really enjoyed this one because the patterns were great, and they had little stories with the different plans and projects and stuff, and wonderful magazine. I have a whole bunch of those. That's all Creative Woodworks and Crafts there. Then this one came out in the early 2000s. Actually, this is the first issue of Scrollsaw Workshop, actually. That's what it was called. Now it is Scrollsaw Woodworking Crafts. Okay, that's the two Scrollsaw magazines. You can see I have a lot more of Creative Woodworks and Crafts than I do Scrollsaw Workshop. But yeah, those are both really good magazines for Scrollsawing. I have a lot of Scrollsaw books, pattern books. I have given a bunch away, but I still have a bunch. Other woodworking and home improvement books, just tons of stuff. Other magazines, tons of other woodworking books. Wood Magazine, Woodworker's Journal, American Woodworker. So yeah, this is my little library here. Patterns, Scrollsaw magazines, Scrollsaw books, other woodworking books. Yeah, and then while I'm down here, these are bins of other templates. All different kinds of templates I made for different projects. I like making the hardboard templates. I have them under there. Okay, as we go down the line here, there is Tim Taylor from Home Improvement. My inspiration. Real men don't need instructions. Yeah, I'm more like him than any other woodworker probably. I still like that show. We got the series on DVD. It's fun to watch. Anyway, that's actually a puzzle, and we put it in a frame years ago. Okay, then I have I'll explain the X's in a little bit here, but I have a little sticker wall here. I know some people have hundreds or even more. I don't have many here, but if you want one of my stickers, that's my sticker. Please email or message me on Facebook, and I'll give you a sticker. If you want to swap stickers, you can. A few of my YouTube friends have sent me stickers. So I have those there. Really small sticker wall, but I'd like to get more. Yeah, and a couple of just Marty-isms. So this is my chair where I like to sit, drink coffee, and eat pistachios, make videos. Just a chair falling on the side of the road. I put a couple of side tables on it. I got my coffee there and pistachios, my Bible, some other things to read, and some woodworking magazine I'm looking at right now. And this is the new issue of the Scrollsaw Woodworking and Crafts. And that's my footstool. I did a video on that. I had seen somebody had done it, and I thought it was just kind of fun. Basically, I just traced my foot and, yeah, just made feet and put them on 2x4 legs with an oak top. Simple, kind of funny footstool. Yeah. And I got a little cooler there. Sometimes I'll have a little beer or water in there. Anyway, but that's that there. Yeah, some kind of my sitting area to hang out. And this is a shelf I've made here of gifts from subscribers and viewers. I'm not going to name people because I don't want to miss people, but you can just see some of the wonderful gifts that people have made me and given me. This isn't everything, but this is some different things, and I'm so thankful. If you've ever given me anything, again, you don't have to, but I appreciate it. It's so wonderful. I have gifts in the kitchen and in my hobby room and other places around the house, too. This is just a few things I have out in the shop. Actually getting dusty, but I wanted to have them out here. So that's the west wall. I know it's getting long. This is going to be over an hour. Sorry. Hope you enjoy it, though. That's, I believe, was the first sign I carved, Marty's Ramblings, out of oak, actually. Or is that ash? I think that's ash. Grandpa's Workshop, my own old license plate for my pickup. And so now we are on the north wall. And that's a big pile of junk. Out of sight, out of mind. Behind the shop. It has to go to the dump someday. Anyway, so this is the north wall. And this is the most disorganized area. Now, these two areas that are coming up here. This is my hardware and supply and accessory and just stuff wall, and I want to organize it better. I want to do it better. I did do a little bit more organizing, but basically I just have bins screwed to the wall and then some other drawers and bins full of stuff. I want to get it organized better where I can remove the drawers, do like a French cleat system or something, but we'll see. I want to do that sometime, but all kinds of stuff, nails and screws and nuts and bolts and eye hooks and hasp and L brackets and magnets and hinges and all kinds of stuff. And then just craft supplies, tea lights and marbles and wood things and clothespins and felt and fabric and magnets and jewelry and corks and clips and felt and cribbage board pegs and other game pegs and puzzle parts and stuff. And yeah, then I got a bin of screws I got to go through someday. I got casters and wheels, and this bin here is just Scrollsaw parts. That's all parts from old Scrollsaws and broken Scrollsaws. And just other things and shelf brackets and knobs and handles and all kinds of stuff. That is the north wall. And I also have a few really long clamps. I don't know what they are, 6 foot, I think. Bar clamps. And then I have a fan mounted on the wall or on the ceiling that I can turn on in the summertime when it's hot, circulate the air. That's my tripod I use. That's my broken one. Actually, my friend Robert gave me a new one. But I actually have that one in the truck. I should bring it in here. But anyway, so that's that. And now we're on to the east wall, which is actually pretty much attached to my garage. Again, not real organized, and it's a work in progress, but I have more clamps up there, all kinds of bar clamps and other kinds of clamps, and then this little hand clamps and all kinds of different clamps and stuff, all different ones. You can never have enough clamps. I need more. And a bin of extra safety glasses, and then just is my hand tool wall pretty much. Now I need to get a new radial arm saw, or not a radial arm saw. No, that's not what I meant. I need to get a new circular saw and skill saw. I don't use them very often, but it'd be nice to have them. I actually gave them away recently. We sent a bunch of stuff, donated a bunch of stuff that went down to North Carolina and Tennessee, and I sent some of my tools and backpacks and stuff. Anyway, so I don't have them, but have other things here. That's a Ryobi Sawzall there. And then just some antique, whoa, excuse me, barking spiders in the room. Sorry about that. Here's a few antique tools I got for pennies at garage sales. Some planes and a drill and different things, kind of neat. And some hasp. I got some squares and measuring tools, all kinds of stuff. Some draw knives up there, stud finder, soldering gun, wood burner, calipers, wrenches, utility knives, and levels and squares and hammers and staplers and a bunch of different saws and coping saws and Japanese pull saws and hacksaws and chisels and pliers and wrenches and cutters and screwdrivers and all kinds of stuff. And then this is just a desk, one of my workbenches, but I need to organize. I got a whole bunch of those are new patterns and different things I want to make templates of and patterns. Other patterns, pencils, screws, bits. I got to work on the bottle openers I was going to do. I bought the things and I made some patterns. I need to make those. That's a project coming up. I'm making bottle openers. Some other templates, a couple of coffee cans with different knives and chisels and mallets and different things in. A whole bunch of box elder and birch under there, just logs that are drying for carving spoons. A plastic bin there. So this, I got to organize this more. It's a work in progress. A whole bunch of old projects, different things. I have another shop back there, another stool. There's a whole bunch of electrical outlets and boxes there. So again, my shop is an electrician's nightmare right now, but I am going to get a wire coming in here and put outlets and have one light switch and all that. So those X's that you see every once in a while on the wall are where I plan to put outlets in. So I'm going to put, I think, 12 double outlets in here. I think 10 or 12. So different places, and then have one light switch by the door. That's the plan to do soon, hopefully. So yeah, that's basically that side of the room. That is the east wall that's attached to the garage. And then come down the line here, there's a woodworker and Scrollsaw street sign I made. Kind of neat, fun project. This is my miter saw station. I learned this years ago working at, well, Great Plains Supply. My goodness, that was 30 years ago when I worked there. I learned a lot there from Larry and Mike, my friends. And one of the things I learned is to have a miter saw station like this. And mine's got a lot of stuff on it right now. But basically have a miter saw set up, and that's my Delta. Works incredibly well. Very nice. My Delta miter saw. And to have a station like this with a 2x4 going down there with adhesive tape, and then I have a Meyer thing that slides. I have that. Sometimes I use this too, but it works really well. You know, I could put 8, 10, 12 foot board here, and actually the way I have it set up, I could actually have the door open and have even longer if I needed to, or bring them right in. 2x4s. I got a stack of 2x4s here. But I can bring long boards in and bring them right to the miter saw. It's nice to have a miter saw station like this instead of just having a single miter saw on a bench. I have a whole system here where I can have the boards on there. Yeah, I have a lot of things on there right now, but that's usually clear. That's my miter saw station. All kinds of cutoffs here. These are this is hardboard for making templates. All kinds of small cutoffs I'm using for projects. This is 3 projects I'm doing right now. That's one. See if you can guess what it's going to be. That's one. See if you can guess what it's going to be. And that's another one. See if you can guess what that's going to be. Those are 3 projects. I'm going to do videos on them coming up. I started those. But lots of little pieces of wood. Yeah, I got to organize this better, but then I have some other bigger boards here. I got oak and poplar and mahogany and birch and pine. Different wood there. And then I have little pieces in bins here. I got walnut, maple, yellow birch, cherry, mahogany, alder, aspen, box elder, ash, Brazilian walnut, cedar, abachi, pine, poplar, and oak. Somewhat organized, but I need to organize even better. But yeah. And then I have behind the miter saw here, so I have another, again, accessories with the tools. I got some scissors and pens and pencils, tape measures for the miter saw and different things. Some other old signs I had carved. So again, I know it's not safe, it's not good, but it's temporary. Well, it's been 6 years. But anyway, I am going to get the electrical done correctly in here. That's electric coming from the garage. Yeah, I know. That's my little project board. So I can just write things on there that are going to be gifts or orders from people. Those are a bunch of new things I'm going to be making soon. And 25 shop tours taking place as we speak. So yeah, that's just kind of a project board. I have a couple of clipboards there. And then these are pictures of my family, me and my honey, my wonderful wife Marilyn, my kids Nikki, Hayden, and Danny. Some more pictures of us. A wonderful family. There's my dad holding a walleye. There's my mom. There's Jesus. I don't remember where I got that. I think it was at a garage sale. It's a sketch of Jesus. He was a carpenter. He's my inspiration. I think that's really cool. And 2 of my favorite scriptures in a frame there kind of have to do with woodworking and being creative. A Norwegian blessing. Again, I'm Norwegian, yeah. Yeah, sure, you betcha. You can screenshot any of these things you want to look at closer. But yeah, that's basically my miter saw station. We're getting close to the end here. Kind of close. And so then I have a cutoff bin here where I can just put stuff from the miter saw right in there. This is a bunch of other tools. So this is my sanding and grinding cart. I have it on wheels, so preferably, ideally, when I can, I will move this outside to do all my sanding and grinding outside. I got some stuff to finish here. Is my central machinery benchtop sander. I use this mostly. It's from Harbor Freight. Works great. And then I got another Craftsman. What is it? 1 inch by 42 skinny belt sander there. Then I have 2 grinders, and I don't use them. I need to learn to use them to sharpen and stuff. But I got a tool shop grinder, and then an old Menards. Yeah, there's an old Menards grinder back there, and then that's the motor from the Scrollsaw on top of my shop. I made a kind of a weird little drum sander thing there. So yeah, that's my sanding and grinding cart that I move it outside to use and keep the dust outside when I can. A few things under here. There's my other miter saw, my Hitachi that I used to have up there, and then I got the Delta, so that one I have under there to take places if I'm doing projects out and about. A few hand grinders here, again, which I've never used. That's a DeWalt, and then a Hyper Tough or Tool Shop, I think. And these are a couple of weird tools. I'm not sure really what they are. That's some kind of grizzly clamp, and that's some kind of woodpecker clamp thing. I'm not really sure what they are. They were gifts, but yeah, that's kind of my sanding grinding cart. And I just have a cheap budget tool shop air compressor. I really like my air nailers. I really like that. For small crafty projects, I like using air nailers, so I have a 50-foot air hose here. I'm starting to get tired. It's been long, y'all, but I hope you enjoy this. But yeah, so I have 50 feet of air line there with my air compressor, and then some nail guns up here. Nothing fancy, but they work. Banks little pin nailer, a Banks 2-inch one, brad nailer, and a 2-inch Hitachi. They work so well. I really like using air nailers for putting things together. Using glue and nails like that works really well. Then if I need less fire, fire extinguisher, and if I need more fire, a propane torch. I have those there. There's an old, that used to be a clock years ago. A friend of mine gave me. I don't have the clock anymore, but I still got the blade. Then I have my broom hanging up here, and another brush and dustpan. I have a shop apron I wear sometimes, and a couple of tool belts I use sometimes when I'm doing projects out and about. There's a garbage can there, and another thing for finishing. This is a portable one. Again, it's on a Lazy Susan. I can put something on there and turn it and stain. And then we're back to the door, and that's just a block of wood I used to prop the door open. Quickly, the middle of the room. I recently made this kind of a little workbench table. It's kind of in the way. I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but I like it. It's a little bit in the way, being in the middle of the room, but I really like to have one workbench that's taller in the middle to lay out things. And these are my templates for making names, and I'm actually laying out a bunch of names to cut on the Scrollsaw. So that's my higher, smaller kind of layout table in the middle of the room. And then I have my 10-inch Craftsman table saw. It's very heavy duty. It's very old. It isn't the best table saw in the world, but it works. I don't use table saw very often, but when I do, it works. I'd like to find an older Delta, a nice one. But that's the table saw I have for now. And then I have that's an outfeed table for the table saw, and also a workbench for bigger projects. That is basically my shop. I have one more thing to show you quickly, and then we'll be done with this video. Let's go outside quickly. So I'll show you my shop annex, I call it, or classroom. Oh, my wife must be getting ready to go somewhere. I'll quickly end the video here. Here's our 2-car garage. My wife parks her Jeep in here. There's my Blackstone grill. Might use that today. There's my John Deere tractor, our bikes, all kinds of other stuff in here. But this is the side that I wanted to show you quick. I call this the shop annex, or the extension of my shop. I got a lot more wood in here, and wood for campfires, stuff for church projects and stuff. And this is a little table here I have with camp stoves and stuff where I do videos out here and I should do that soon. I've been kind of wanting to do some little projects with camp stoves and lanterns and my DIY stoves. I should do that. A couple of propane things here. But this is one I want to show you. I have more Scrollsaws. So I like to teach Scrollsawing to kids, and I've done that through the years in school. A couple of different schools, and now I teach our youth group in our church. We have them over once in a while. So I have 9 Scrollsaws here. I pick them up on Marketplace, really good deals, and fix them up for teaching. They work really well. So I have a Delta Q3 here. It's an 18-inch. I have this Delta here. Then I have this Craftsman, and I have the same Craftsman over there. I have another Delta, variable speed there. There's a Delta P20. There's a Porter cable, 18-inch I believe, or 16-inch. There's another Delta. Another Craftsman. A few of these I have to work on the blade holders and fix a few things on them, but I set these up and use these for teaching scroll sawing. It's really fun. I really enjoy that. Wish I could do that full time. Then I have a broken Delta over there that I'm in the process of repairing. So this is my shop annex, an extension of my shop. I set these up. I got to put more lighting up in here, but I like to use this and have our youth group over, and we do scroll sawing and woodworking. I'm hoping to do a lot more of that in the future. Okay, so I'm going to end the video here because it's already been long enough. I was going to sit in my chair and chat some more, but I think I've chatted long enough. I think it's been long enough. But yeah, that is my shop tour 2025. Sorry it's kind of long, but I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment on anything, questions, thoughts, advice, whatever. Again, I'm just a thrifty woodworker. I enjoy it. It's fun. I'm blessed to have the shop I have. I would like to get a thickness planer like a Delta, a better Delta table saw someday, some kind of dust collection, a better heater maybe. Otherwise, I really enjoy my shop the way it is and what I have. And yeah, and I really gotta pee. So I'm gonna end this video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.